Hello, good day to you, and thank you for listening to another podcast. My name is DJ. I'm with Dacasource, and I believe this is the eighth audio cast in this series. In case you are new to this and haven't heard me before, I am an eBay reseller, and this is a documentary about how I'm trying to go from a part-time eBay seller to a full-time eBay professional business. I go to thrift stores, garage sales, and other online marketplaces to try to find items to resell on eBay for a profit. So this is just an audio cast, a podcast about my journey. It's about what is taking place in my business. I discuss some of the decisions I'm making, and then I give my opinions and thoughts. So I thank you for listening. Hopefully you're listening to this as you are sourcing or working on your eBay business, or maybe you're just thinking about learning more about eBay. I thank you for joining me on this journey. So here are some things that took place this week in my eBay business. A quick update on the item that was lost in the mail by the United States Postal Service. I said last week that I had opened a search for the item on the USPS website, and so far I haven't heard anything back. I ended up refunding the buyer. The buyer told me good luck. Hope you at least get your item back. It's unfortunate because the item was a pretty good item. It was worth $35 to $40. I think that's how much I sold it for. But I mean, it was a Southwestern sweater by Ralph Lauren, and I wish that it would have arrived to the buyer. It didn't make it to the warehouse where they ship off all the global shipping program items. It was supposed to arrive in Kentucky, never made it. I have tracking to the San Antonio USPS, I guess, warehouse or wherever they send things from. After that, it was lost. And so I'm still waiting to hear back from the USPS, see if they find the item. And I think the next step is just to file a claim. I shipped it priority, so I think that means I have insurance. I've never done this before. And so, the USPS lost my item. Next, this week, I got my first VERO violation. And if you are not familiar with a VERO violation, what it is a trademark violation of some type. VERO is short for Verified Rights Owner Program. And so apparently I had a listing of a counterfeit item, and it's an item that I didn't think would be counterfeit, so I purposely did not list this thinking it was a counterfeit item. But what it was a Titleist FootJoy men's it was a red and black stripe polo shirt, golf polo shirt. Now I buy and sell FootJoy all the time, but I should have been a little bit more suspicious about this item. In case you don't know, FootJoy shirts sell okay. They're a basic bread and butter item for me. But what makes certain FootJoy shirts even more worthwhile is when they have a Titleist logo on them. This one was a little bit different because it was in reverse. Usually it's a FootJoy shirt with a Titleist logo. But this one was a Titleist shirt with a FootJoy logo. And it was older, so I thought maybe it was vintage. And I could not find any comps. So I thought I had a pretty rare shirt. Well, apparently it's fake. The FootJoy logo was on the sleeve, and the tag and some of the accents around the collar were Titleist. I have heard of VERO violations on other items or other brands, like commonly known as are companies like Velcro. You can't use the word Velcro. You can't use Red Bull, but it just totally slipped my mind that this shirt could be a fake. So eBay sent me a nice little email just saying that I had this listing had been removed because of a trademark violation, and the reason being that it was believed to be a fake. I researched the company that was in the email address, and apparently it's called it looks like Ashnet Company. It's ACUSHNET, a Cushnet company, and it looks like they do the online sales for Titleist, FootJoy, Pinnacle, and a couple of other brands. Voiki, never heard of that, but apparently they're golf brands. And so if anyone would know, I assume Titleist and FootJoy would know. So I accept the violation, took it out of my inventory, and I'm just gonna have to count it as product loss. So lesson learned. You gotta learn from your mistakes and move on. Hopefully, it doesn't count against me too much. So just keep a lookout and make sure the things you are listing are authentic. From eBay's point of view, the seller is responsible to make sure that the items are authentic. One of the things I do for a break, and I don't know why I decided to talk about this, but I have a movie pass. And if you haven't gotten one, I would recommend getting it. For $9.99 a month, you get this pass in the mail, and it allows you to go to pretty much as many movies a month as you want. And I don't think it's going to last that much longer, especially at the rate I'm going. I have to admit that I've seen quite a few movies since getting the pass. And so I pay $10 a month, and every day you can go to a different movie, and you basically, after you go to the first movie, you've paid for the pass. And then after that, it allows you entrance into the movie. It gets you a ticket. And I've had this for about a month. And what I do is I use this for breaks. Sometimes, I'm out thrifting and sourcing for half the day. And then I have like an hour or two to kill before going to work my other job in the evening. And so sometimes I sneak into a movie theater, and other times I use it after I'm done working for the day at 10 o'clock in the evening and go to a 10 o'clock movie. And I don't know, I really like movies, and this just allows access to those movies. So if you want something for a break, I would recommend getting the movie pass. So this week, one of the movies I saw was the movie Rampage. And I know there's a lot of better movies out there, and I've seen a lot of them. But the most recent one was the movie Rampage. And it stars The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. And I think overall, it was an okay movie. It wasn't that great of a movie. It has the monsters. I believe that the movie was taken after a game I used to love playing, I think in the 80s or 90s, called Rampage. And it's about oversized animals that take over a city, like a gorilla, an oversized alligator, and an oversized wolf. Oh, I guess I should say this is a spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen the movie Rampage, I'll never talk about new movies, but this has been out for a while. At times, the movie seemed a little bit cheesy, But you know what? To get in for basically free, a good time killer if you need. I wouldn't say that it's that great of a movie, but if you have some extra minutes to kill, it wasn't too bad. Not the best, not the worst. Okay, next, I had an Instagram question from Rachel Ray. And first, thank you for listening. Of course, anyone can contact me via email, a phone message, Instagram. I think those are pretty much the avenues I use right now. And the user was Rachel Ray. And she asked a question: if I'm trying to get started, is it best for me to use a business account on eBay or a personal account? I don't have a business established yet. Thanks for your podcast. Super helpful. Again, thank you for listening. And, just I think in general, everyone I think should start out with a personal account. One, I found it easily upgradable. So if you're just getting started, start with a personal account because you want to see if this is something you're going to like. I would encourage everyone to give it a try, but I've seen so many people start up an eBay only to find that they really don't have the passion and love to do it. You're going to have the passion and love to have an eBay business because the work can get very monotonous. When you're listing and taking photos and you're stuck in a room and trying to list all your items, it can get monotonous. And so, to overcome that, you either need to delegate, and for me, I have an employee that does the stuff I don't like to do, or your other option is to just grind through it. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. It's rewarding, especially when you start selling and making money. So I would definitely start with a personal account and, consider it a hobby at first. And, once you start seeing yourself doing this as a business, then, consider upgrading. But there's really no need to upgrade too soon. Really, I don't find a major difference in the personal and the business PayPal accounts right now. So good luck on starting on eBay and let me know how it goes. Okay, so let's talk about the sales for the week. This week, I made $1,490.78 in revenue, and that is including shipping. And that came out to a profit of $765.22. I had sold 36 items, and my other job, I made $259.31, which gave me a total income for the week of $1,024.53. So that's like the money I put in the bank. That's profit. And my hourly wage was $25.61. And so what I'm doing there is I'm taking my total profit, the total money that I made, and that's including the profit from eBay and my money from my other job, adding them together, and then dividing that by 40. And what that lets me see is how much money I would be making in a 40-hour work week. And that came out to $25.61. And so I'm okay with that. I think that's a really good hourly wage for right now. Okay, some items that sold really well for me this week. I think one of the first things was a cinch shirt. And what made this cinch shirt a good purchase was it was flame resistant. It was an FR flame resistant shirt. And it sold for $40.45, and I bought it for $7.99 at a Goodwill. This was just a little bit of a thicker fabric, so I shipped this in a padded flat rate envelope because it was more than 16 ounces. The next item that sold for a good amount of money was a Tommy Bahama embroidered shirt. This was an all black Hawaiian camp style shirt and double XL, and it sold for $54.99, and I purchased this for $4.29 at a local Goodwill. With these Tommy Bahama shirts, you want to make sure that at least nowadays that they're embroidered or they have something really special about them, or they're just not going to sell for a whole lot of money. But this one had some really fancy embroidery in the back and brought in $54. Some pairs of shoes I sold. I sold a Dansko women's vegan Vita canvas clogs. And these are a little bit different than the typical Danskos, but I bought it because of the brand. They look like pretty normal shoes. They have like a rubber reinforced toe on them. They're slip resistant. And I bought these for $7.57, and they sold for $60. Always be on the lookout for Z-Coil shoes. These are the tennis shoes or the runners that have spring heels on them. They seem to always sell well for me. It took approximately less than a month to sell these, and I bought them for $10, I believe at a garage sale, and they sold for $68. Another item that I sold was a Sony micro cassette recorder. These seem to always do well. I bought this for $3 at a garage sale. It was purchased for $40, and I did have to clean out the battery compartment. It had some acid leakage from the batteries, but other than that, it sold well. Then I sold a Columbia vintage PFG shirt. This was a short sleeve shirt, and the reason why I picked this one up, I believe I paid $4.29 for it, was because it had a unique plaid design on it, and it was pearl snap. And so typically if I find a nice in good shape PFG, they'll sell for between about $19.99, but this one sold for a little bit more because it was a little bit different. I sold a PlayStation 3 Guitar Hero guitar for $34, Woolrich men's jacket vest for $30, and I think the sell for the week was a JBL Bass Pro 8-inch underseat subwoofer for the vehicle, and I bought this for $9.99 at a local thrift store, and it sold on auction for $132.50. I usually don't do a lot of auctions, maybe one or two a month. I didn't know how much this would go for, and I know that if I would have did this buy it now, I probably would have only put about $100 on it. It sold for $132. Ariat boots for $55.99, paid about $8 for that. I sold a Guitar Hero dongle for $25. A pair of SAS sandals. Now, SAS San Antonio shoes always sell for good money. They're comfort shoes. These are sandals. They sold for $40. I paid $3 for them at a local thrift store. And that's great about this area that I'm living in is that I live in San Antonio, and I believe they're made here in San Antonio. A Polaroid camera for $25, and 1993 Lion King plush baby Simba stuffy. This sold for $70. This is one of the items I brought back from Canada with me, and I bought it for $8.32 at a thrift store in Canada. It took a while to sell. I believe I first listed this in December, so this past December. So it took a while, but it sold for $70. I sold a little or Lily, Lille, baby carrier. This is something that you put around your shoulders, and the baby sits in this little pouch in the front of you. It sold for $70, and I bought that for $5.99 at a local thrift store. A Viella men's shirt, $27.99. Skechers Shape Ups. These were like a brown leather sneaker. It sold for $57.99. I believe I paid about $10 for that. Another pair of Z Coil shoes sold. I guess I didn't realize I sold two this week. And they sold for $65.99, and the first pair sold for $67.99. So you're going to get about the $70 range there for these types of shoes. Duluth Trading Company denim canvas jeans for $35.99. I think I bought that for about $8. And my Psycho Bunny green polo shirt finally sold for $30. This was an item I had cross-listed on Poshmark. I know that was really quick, really fast, but it gives you an idea of some of the things I sell. A lot of it are men's shirts and shoes. They're kind of my bread and butter now. And then mixed in with that, there's some higher dollar items like the JBL base for the car. I just wanted to give you a quick idea of some of my weekly sales. I guess what I wanted to talk about this week is one of the ways that helps me get past times when things just don't go my way. And not that everything has to go my way. What I'm talking about is whether or not we play ourselves as victims. And it's a real pet peeve of mine. We are not victims. Yet it seems like when I hear a lot of people talk about their eBay businesses, I am seeing that there seems to be a lot of blaming. And if you're going to get into an eBay business and really be serious about it, you have to decide early on whether you're going to play victim or decide if you're going to be the one that is in control of your business. I see so many people on Facebook blogs or Facebook posts commenting and ranting and blaming eBay for the way they run their business, blaming eBay for slow sales, blaming thrift stores for high prices, blaming this and that for why their eBay business isn't working. And so it always rubs me the wrong way when I see these posts or I hear people commenting and blaming. I think we've entered an age where we find a lot of people that just like blaming other people for their situations. And I want to challenge eBay business owners, if you're going to do this seriously, to take control of your destiny. Now, I don't mean that in a spiritual sense. I mean that in a business sense. I think this idea of being a victim or being in control of your business destiny is a principle from a book I read called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I highly recommend this book. It made me think about money differently. It made me think about a business mentality a little bit differently. So what do I mean about being a victim? I'll give you an example. A few weeks back, you might remember that Mark Zuckerberg was under congressional review about your private data on Facebook. And I don't blame, Congress for, interviewing him. And But what that brought out was a lot of discussion about being mad at Facebook because people's information was being distributed somehow. And I just couldn't believe the amount of people that were mad at Facebook when we are the ones that give our information. I mean, Facebook is in the business of sharing information. I agree that certain information shouldn't be sold. I would be upset if my credit card numbers or Social Security, things like that, was sold or shared. But I don't think that's what was being distributed. I did listen to a lot of the questioning by the congressman while I was out thrifting and driving from store to store. And it showed, one, that they had no idea how Facebook worked. And I didn't understand why they had to be so angry and so mad. It clearly showed they have no idea about what's taking place on social media. But back to the point. We need to stop blaming other people for the decisions we make. People who get on Facebook know that they're sharing personal information and, at least to some extent, making it public for others to see. We're sharing pictures. We're sharing information about how our day went. People are voicing opinions. I mean, you're listening to me voice my opinion right now, and it's okay to disagree with me. It doesn't offend me at all when people disagree with me. People share a wide range of information. I mean, I've seen articles of people not getting jobs because employers look at their Facebook page, at least what is public, and make decisions about this person they're going to hire based on what they see on their Facebook pages and social media accounts. And so we see this uproar about Facebook getting into trouble with distributing your information, but you're the one that shared it. I'm the one that shares my information. And they have user agreements when you apply for these applications, these games that Facebook puts on their website with disclaimers. There's a little pop-up that says some of your information may get used, but it was my decision to use it. It's my decision to use Facebook. And so how can I play the victim when I made the choice to share my information? No one is forcing us to use Facebook. But let me always say that the ones who seem to have a problem with other things, a problem with Facebook, a problem with slow sales in eBay, those voices always seem to be the loudest, complainers and victims. And what playing a victim allows us to do is not take responsibility for anything. We see this in schools. See, for me, it used to be when I was little that if I got in trouble at school, then I was going to get double at home. Nowadays, parents are blaming teachers for their kids misbehaving in school. And so the parents and the children don't have to take responsibility. Now, let me just say quickly that there are some times when people are actually victims. Okay, there are times when people are abused or taken advantage of in wrong ways, and I'm not talking about this at all, like that category of people at all. When there are injustices, I believe it's our responsibility to stand up for them And so I'm not talking about people who are true victims. I'm talking about people who play victims by blaming other people. And so how does this relate to eBay? Well, we see a lot of people commenting and that eBay treats us unfair. Well, the truth is that nobody is forcing you to be on eBay. There are other alternatives. Nobody is forcing you to have the job that you have. There are alternatives. And so in my business, what took place with me was I don't like working for other people. I like being the one that makes the decisions. So if you're working another job and you talk about your boss, you hate it, no one's forcing you to work that job. If you don't like that your wage, no one's forcing you to work there. I guess there might be some exceptions where you're forced to work somewhere in the United States, but you have control over your own life. And so don't play victim if you're not paid very much. And so, I mean, think about it this way. I run an eBay business. I have 2 employees, about hopefully, maybe, we're gonna see how it goes, add a 3rd employee. And I want to be fair in my wages, but at the same time, I want to keep my expenses low so I can make money. So does that make me a jerk of a boss for trying to keep my expenses low? One of my weekly highest expenses is paying my employees, and I pay them for the work they do. And so I pay my employee $3 per item listed. So they have the potential to make between 12 to 18, 24, $21 an hour. They get to work from my house where I live. They can take breaks whenever they want. There's a TV up there with Netflix. They can listen to music. And so there's lots of advantages for working with me from home because I pay them per item. And so how much they make is completely up to them. So if my employee only lists 2 items, he's only making $6 per hour. Does that make me a bad boss? No, it leaves him in control of his own destiny. And so I want to challenge my listeners to be in control of your destiny. If you don't like the way something is going, you take control. Don't go blame someone else. I mean, sure, you might be irritated or mad at them, but don't blame them. I think this is why eBay is so great, because getting into eBay is the lowest cost entry for someone who wants to run their own business. Getting into eBay doesn't cost much. You're paying little fees for items you're listing. In fact, I think when you sign up for eBay, an eBay account and a PayPal account, you're not charged anything. How can I be mad at eBay for helping me make so much money? They are the ones that get the word out about my items for sale. So do I get mad about eBay's high fees? No, I don't get mad at them. They're the ones doing the marketing. It's a marketing expense. And my honest feeling is, if you feel like you want to rant and rave and continuously play the victim that eBay's out to get you, or PayPal's out to get you, or scammers are out there, which is part of doing eBay, you should know that if you do eBay, you're going to get returns. You're going to get scammed from time to time. That's part of doing business. People who run Target and Walmart know that there's going to be some product loss because people are sometimes naughty and steal things. See, right now I don't have to worry much about someone stealing my stuff because it's in my possession. And we are Second Amendment people. There might be a time where I might have a warehouse and I store stuff there, and so I might get a break-in, but I better have insurance. That's my decision to have insurance or not. It's all part of doing the eBay business. There's going to be good times, there's going to be not so good times, but let's not go blaming people. If your stuff's not selling, don't blame eBay, because it might be our own fault. It might be that we're selling stuff that doesn't sell well, that nobody wants. I talked this week about my first VERO case. I sold something that was counterfeit on accident. I didn't mean to sell it. That was my fault, though. When I researched the item, I saw that there were no comparables. It should have caught my attention. I saw that the FootJoy logo looked a little bit weird. I didn't think that that would be counterfeit, but I'm not going to blame eBay. And I'll talk about it next week. It seems like that VERO account affected my sales. I can't prove that, but it seems that way. But that was my fault. Life is not fair. There are many situations in my life that I have no control over. And I can either roll over and complain and bicker and have a bad attitude, or I can say that I do have choices. I can make choices here. I can be a voice for people who are being abused, people who are true victims. One more quick story before I end this rant. I was in a post office, and this was in Canada. And I was standing in line. In Canada, I had to drop off my packages every day to the post office. And it was always at like a Walgreens or CVS. It wasn't either of those, but it was a little pharmacy like that. And in the back, they would have a little station where you would take all your packages. I was in line, and the woman in front of me was, I guess, picking up a check of some type from the post office, like maybe it was a MoneyGram or something, and the computer went down for the postal worker. And this girl was probably like 18 years old, probably her first job. And this woman in front of me just kept complaining, like, well, you should just pay me the money because you know I have it here. You should have some type of backup system for when your computer goes down. And it was on and on. And I was standing in line behind her, and I was just like shaking my head. And she kept saying, the Postal Service is so bad and all this, and just kept going on. And finally, I just had enough because this girl behind the counter was just taking it, and she couldn't say anything back because this was her job, and she probably didn't want to lose her job. So I finally just voiced out, there's nothing she can do about it. And the woman stopped. The woman stopped her complaining because it was true. There was nothing that this girl behind the counter could do. And maybe in my age, I've become more grumpy, but I dislike seeing people treated unfairly. True victims versus this woman who made the choice to go to this postal office. She can go to another one down the road, getting mad at a computer system that no one could control, berating this girl who can't see anything back because she's working her job. I just don't like seeing injustices like that. And so this is the end of my rant. We are not victims. We have choices. We control our own destiny. And that's why I love selling on eBay. We make the choices in our businesses. We choose what items to sell. We choose the prices we sell them at. We choose the backgrounds and the lighting for our photos or what camera to use. We choose whether or not we have employees and how much we're going to pay them. If I have an employee who complains to me, I'll just simply tell them I'm not forcing you to work here. Now, in my character, I hope to be just. I hope to be fair. I reward good ideas. Like my employee had a great idea on how to increase our listing efficiency. And I rewarded him with extra pay for that. So, rant over. We are not victims. In eBay, we control our businesses. And we have a partner called eBay that allows us to have this easy access to business. So if you are tired of maybe your job that you're working, maybe things are unfair at your job, maybe you don't get paid the wage that you want, maybe you've always dreamed of having your own business and control in your own life, then eBay is an easy way to gain access to your own business. It's easy access. It's easy entry. I told the story, I think in my first podcast, how I started with only $20. And now I'm making a pretty good income with eBay, plus my other job. And that's all I have to say about that. I think this is going to be it for this week. Once again, I thank you for joining me and listening. Feel free to leave me a message. I know I can get opinionated, and please know that as I'm ranting and sharing my opinion, that I'm very open to other opinions. So please feel free to comment, leave me your thoughts. I encourage that if you're going to leave comments, to be nice about it. And by no means do I intend to offend people on purpose, but I would like to hear your thoughts. I know there's always different points of view, and I want to hear about those things. And even if we disagree, I believe we can do so in a friendly manner. My contact info is in the show notes. I list all the things I sell on my Instagram account, which is Dacasource, Dacasource. So if you want to see my sales, go to my Instagram page, because I continually list what I've sold. Now I'm about a month and a half behind on what I've sold. So I hope maybe to have a day where I can just dig in and post a bunch of things I sold. But everything I sell, I put on that Instagram page. Please like and subscribe as I try to grow my social media. Thank you so much for listening. Feel free to contact me, and I'll talk to you next time.